Hello, and welcome back to the Sycamore Built Podcast, the show where we talk with interesting people at Indiana State University and build connections amongst students, faculty, staff, alumni, and others outside the Sycamore community. I'm one of your hosts, Connor Brownfield, and today I'm joined by Kody Walker, Student Director for the John C. Hook Observatory in the College of Earth and Environmental Sciences. Kody, thank you for coming in.
Of course, thank you for having me.
So you're the Student Director of the Observatory on campus. How long have you held that position?
I've held that position for about a year and a half now, ever since I'm a senior now. Got one more semester left, and I've held that position since the beginning of my junior year. So,
congratulations.
Thank you.
What are your current plans for after graduation? Do you know?
My current plans are to pursue either a master's or PhD program in astronomy or astrophysics, so kind of just continue my research career and continue on my further education.
Fantastic. And what got you interested in astronomy and the related fields?
So, that's a great question. A lot of people have kind of have a pivotal moment in their life where they kind of get interested in astronomy. I didn't have that. I kind of always knew that it was super interesting. I grew up outside of Chicago, so didn't really have much to see in the night sky, super light polluted, but always had an interest in it. I always saw documentaries of it and cool stuff. Went to the local planetarium and just kind of had an awesome experience with it.
Sure. And for people who, like you, don't grow up with that experience and that interaction with astronomy, what would you say to help them get into that?
Yeah, absolutely. Start just going. Talk to your teachers. I'm sure most of them will have some kind of interest in science, physics, astronomy, or go to something like a local observatory. Any universities around, most of them have an observatory like we do. They'll be able to host public outreach events and stuff like that, which will allow you to just kind of interact with that a little more if you don't have that immediate interaction.
Fantastic. Have you been to some of the observatories on other campuses?
Yeah, I've been to quite a multitude of observatories. Been to IU's observatory, Butler's, and a couple in Illinois and abroad too, in other states as well. Which they're all great facilities and they're run by great people.
Fantastic. So you told me something about what got you interested in astronomy. What made you interested in pursuing this student director position at the observatory here?
So initially, I guess going all the way back to my freshman year, I saw an event for a flyer. I didn't even know we had an observatory, so I saw a flyer for it by the previous student director, Eleanor Head. She was a geology major, and she was actually discovered the observatory a long time ago, kind of just being there. But eventually, I kind of said, hey, I'm interested in this. I want to help volunteer. So then I started helping volunteer. They had a grad student my sophomore year, Paige Havener. She was a master's student here. And that's where I was. My sophomore year, I was promoted to assistant director of the observatory. And then later on my junior year, I became student director. And that's what I still am in today. But kind of what got me interested just because showing that we do have this great facility. And I think that it definitely needs to be utilized and being shown to the public more and student body more.
So how many students do you work with?
So currently I have about 10 volunteers currently. And also we just started an astronomy club up. So I'll be working with more of those through that as well.
Amazing. So what, in your words, makes this observatory, the John C. Hook Observatory, special and important to Indiana State?
Yeah, so the observatory is super special because it's actually a super kind of historic observatory in the sense of what we have is the in the big dome area, and as the centerpiece, the telescope in there is what we call a Unitron Model 620. It's a 3-scope system. It has a 6-inch, 4-inch, and 80-millimeter telescope on it. And there's only 26 of those ever made, which is
wow.
Which is very unique, and everybody loves Unitron because they're very they were very good at what they did with making telescopes.
So you mentioned the different sizes of scopes in there.
Yes.
Can you walk us through what each of those kind of looks like and does?
Yeah, so they're what we call refractor telescopes. They're kind of like the long, skinny ones that you would normally get when you get an entry-level scope. So basically uses lenses, and what I mean by 6-inch, 4-inch, and 80 millimeters is that the diameter for the amongst the main lens, so amongst the primary objective lens. So it would be 6 inches is the big long one. It is quite large. If you ever the chance to go up there, it is quite a large. And you have a 4-inch right under off the side of it, and then back here you'll have an 80 millimeter one. So just kind of very long and very large, very skinny too.
Great. And we know the dome part of the observatory was out of commission for a while, but it recently went over a great revitalization process and is now reopened to the public. What inspired the restoration to happen now?
So I think I do know that a couple of the previous student directors, such as like Eleanor and Paige, they kind of expressed interest and yeah, like we'd like to do this eventually. Um, and it was just kind of like trying to figure out funding to get it done. And kind of the process to get it done, who would be able to do it, what would be able to do it. And I think the pivotal moment was the total solar eclipse of 2024. Totality, as many of you know, was right through, the center line was right through Terre Haute. So we were able to see actually the full total solar eclipse, which was very nice. And we were able to do a big event. Personally, James and I, Mr. Wallace, he's kind of the main guy for the observatory, other than I. He's kind of affiliate faculty here at the department. And he and I went down to Vincennes to an Eclipse Ambassadors program and broadcast their TV10 right in town. Along with, we also had events here with a couple of other volunteers to do kind of dual live streaming through Vincennes, which is got the most amount of time, and also here in Terre Haute too at the Science Building.
Wow. Tell me a little bit more about that day of the eclipse. What other events has your department played such a important role in?
Yeah, so definitely, as I mentioned, the eclipse was definitely the big one. We've also just kind of hosted regular public outreach events. It was once a week, but now it's twice a week. Just kind of doing every time. We're doing 2 hours each, twice a week now, to where we're able to bring out people. Just anybody through the public, the student body, or faculty, anybody can come and they can just be able to look through our super nice and expensive telescopes that the university has.
So with the revitalization, what can the dome do now that it couldn't do before when it was out of commission?
Yeah, so the dome was out of commission for 26 years.
Wow.
We did find that out. So there's points within that time where people like painted it because they wanted to fix it, but it just never got fully fixed 100%. So now, after 26 years, it's been fully redone. And what it could do is it could always rotate because the top dome piece does rotate, and you need that because it's going to open a little window, essentially. And there's going to be two little shutters that are going to open this window that is going to allow us to see out with the telescope. So you obviously don't want to see a sliver of the sky. You want to see the entire sky. So it did rotate prior, but the shutter did not open. So we can't just look at the top of the dome. You want to see out into the night sky. So we had to break that open, restring all the cables. It was also very rusty in there because it was just rotting for 26 years. So we finally repainted all over that. We got the rust converter, so now it is all not rusty, and it's actually looking very nice now.
Fantastic. And so much of this revitalization effort was made possible by donations from Mr. Wallace, who you mentioned earlier.
Yes.
That's, for our viewers at home, that's James Wallace, an alumni. And since Sycamore Built is an alumni-focused podcast, would you tell me a little bit more about what it was like working with him throughout this project?
Yeah, so he was, as I mentioned, he's an affiliate faculty here now, but he kind of came along when we kind of reached out to him for the total eclipse. We kind of needed a little bit of guidance on that, so we kind of the department reached out to him because we knew that he actually used to be the student director of the observatory when he was here back in the 90s as both a undergrad and a graduate student here. So we're working with him for the observatory. He's a very great guy. He's a very upbeat guy, and I really enjoyed working with him, in which he just kind of was able to lead the whole operation and was able to show a lot of good guidance. And him and I really painted that entire interior, fixed it all up, and it was really us two kind of leading the charge forward. So it wasn't just that he was sitting there making the donations, but he was also there helping and actually fixing it himself.
Wow. Very impressive.
Yes.
And tell me a little bit about some of the faculty that you work with in the department as well.
Yeah, so our main point of contact is the chairperson, Dr. Jennifer Latimer. She's been a tremendous help with making this observatory possible and fixing this observatory up, because I do know past faculty have not necessarily had the interest in fixing this observatory, but she has definitely shown that she is very interested in this, and she has been very gracious with providing us with new telescopes, providing us with new equipment, and making sure that she's a very big presence and making sure that this is a possibility moving forward. I've known that Dr. Joseph West from the physics department also has helped out. Chemistry and physics department has helped out kind of promoting the observatory a little bit through his physics classes too, kind of giving a little extra credit, a little bit of incentive to go check out the observatory, to make kind of just show it off to a little more of the student body as well.
Fantastic. Well, it sounds like the project's gotten a lot of support from various sides.
Yes.
Students, faculty, alumni. And then after the revitalization project was done, you had a reopening ceremony. Can you tell me a little bit about that ceremony and what it was like?
Yeah, so that was on November 20th, I believe. It was the Thursday right before Thanksgiving break, in which we were trying to finish this up so we could have a reopening ceremony. After, as I said, after 26 years, we kind of want to make it a big deal.
Sure.
So we kind of just had a little reception prior where we kind of just had a couple space and astronomy themed desserts out there along the sea, made by actually one of our staff at the department. She made those for us. Along with it was just kind of a time for a couple of us to speak. Dr. Latimer spoke. I spoke and Mr. Wallace spoke, so we kind of just all kind of expressed our gratitude and was able to kind of just show what we could do. And then we eventually brought everybody up to the actual roof into the dome and kind of showed what they can do. Unfortunately, it was cloudy that night, so we couldn't actually show the full power and scale we're able to do through the telescopes. We're able to show that the dome is fully operational, show the beauty of the scopes, that it all works and is all operational. But going forward, we use the dome weekly and regularly, so now we're able to actually show people what we can do with this amazing facility.
So you mentioned it was unfortunately cloudy on the night of the reception. What are the ideal conditions for looking through the telescope?
Yeah, so at any clear night, ideally you want just no clouds in the night sky. You can go for specific nitty-gritty stuff like air masses and sky conditions, but that's not really the big deal with this telescope. This telescope is not for research, but for exclusively outreach, because it is such a historic facility and it is such an amazing telescope. So we love to use it, and any clear night we can go out and we can take it out, and we can any club can probably reach out to us, and we'd be happy to make a private event for them or something like that. So any clear night, we'd be happy to bring the telescope out and show anybody the night sky.
Great. And you said the observatory with this new dome does weekly visitation opportunities.
Yes.
Can you tell me when those are?
So this semester we were planning on Monday and Thursday night from 8 to 10 p.m. And obviously those will depending if it's cloudy, if it's snowy, if it's raining. Obviously if it's cloudy, we're not going to host the event, or if it's also too cold too. So anything really 15 degrees or anything really below 20 degrees, we're going to probably most likely cancel for actual temperature. But I would take a look at both the observatory Instagram and Facebook. We would be posting if we're canceling it or having the event. Either way, and sometimes will arise special events throughout the semester too. Again, just take a look at our social medias, both Instagram and Facebook, for that.
And you mentioned some of the community outreach efforts you do. Now you're willing to provide telescopes and events for some of these other clubs. What's been your favorite community outreach or event that you've done with the student director position?
So yeah, I haven't really necessarily done specific events yet, but I'm working also with the HLA. I just had the opportunity to give Dr. Campbell from the HLA a tour of the facility, and she wants to hopefully have some events with that too. So kind of just have a specific night for the HLA club to come see, and that doesn't just go for them, but any club that wants to go through. But I really just enjoy bringing people up to the dome, showing them what we can do, and also we don't just have the dome telescope, we have a suite of telescopes that we can use, really high power telescopes that we can have people see planets, galaxies, nebulae, whatever you really want to see.
Incredible. What's the coolest thing you've ever seen looking through one of the telescopes?
That's a tough one. I would have to say, just Saturn's really cool because you can definitely see that ring, but Jupiter is probably my second. I'd probably say Saturn's number one because you can see that distinct ring on it, and you can also see a couple of the moons, but Jupiter is also really cool because you can see the little swirls on the planet as well, and you can also see the four, what we call the Galilean moons, the four biggest moons around Titan.
And for someone who's maybe an amateur when it comes to astronomy, what signatures would you tell them to look for when they're looking through that telescope to find something interesting?
Yeah, so anything bright in the night sky, so especially the planets this time of year. So we will have Saturn and Jupiter up, and along with Venus up in the mornings. So any of these really bright objects in the night sky, just take a look, point your telescope through there, and just try and point and shoot is what I like to say. Point and shoot and try to just see it, and I'm guaranteeing you'll be able to see it. The moon's really cool to see, especially too, especially if you have any telescope, any small, so any small or large telescope, you'll be able to see the moon. Incredible detail, see a lot of detail in the craters, and it's really amazing.
And what are your hopes for the observatory from here, now that you've completed so much progress this year?
Yeah, so I am hoping to kind of just continue our events and doing that, get involved with more clubs, and obviously the astronomy club's up and running, so kind of do a little more with that, along with we have plans to hopefully paint the exterior of the dome too, because the interior is all completed, but we also need to hopefully paint the exterior, so that is up and coming and to be determined. But yeah, just kind of be more interactive with the community as we have been in the past, and kind of just display a little more with this dome after being closed for so long, and show what it can do and what we can do at Indiana State.
Fantastic. And for students who maybe want to get involved with volunteering with your department, how can they get involved in that?
So yeah, I would just either reach out to try to find me, or come down to our events. Contact anyone within either the John C. Observatory staff, which is me, or any of my volunteers at our events, or kind of try and find us on email, or and really anything you can do. Our astronomy club's also linked with the observatory too. That way, in regards that we work with them a lot. So yeah, just kind of come to one of our events and talk to one of us, any of us, me or one of our volunteers, and we'd be happy to point you in the right direction.
Great. And obviously, the reopening of the dome is a monumental event given the historic nature of the facility. For any alumni or potential future students watching right now, what would you say is important about Indiana State and what's special about it right now?
So, I think we're at a golden age right now at Indiana State, to where we have so many resources and so many things. It's, 1865 is when we opened, and I think that, it's a very historic university, and we have so much to offer, and I think we're also at the forefront of new technology and just new bright minds, and the faculty is outstanding here. So I think that this is a golden age at Indiana State to both combine both technology from the past and from the future, to kind of just create this ideal environment for anyone who wants to come here, anyone who wants to kind of engage with our amazing faculty or student body.
Of course. And tell me specifically about your department. What's the standout thing going on right now in Earth and Environmental Sciences?
So yeah, the EES department is quite an outstanding department. We actually we offer both master's and PhD and undergrad degrees, which is just outstanding, because a lot of programs don't, a lot of departments don't, but we do. And just kind of, we have top tier faculty in the field. We have active researchers who research in Africa, who research soils, and who research outstanding things. So it's really been a pleasure to work with these amazing faculty, not just in the astronomy side, but also in the ES side, like in the environmental and geology side of it as well.
Sounds amazing. Is there anything else you want to add today, Kody?
I would just say to check out the observatory. It's a quite a cool thing to go to. Even if bring your kids to, even the general public, as I said, it's not just for the student body, for the public. Not just for the student body or the faculty. It is for everybody. So just give it a shot and take a look at it.
Of course. Well, thank you very much for joining us today, sir.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you all at home for tuning in to the Sycamore Built podcast. You can see episodes on YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, and wherever else you get your podcasts. Have a great rest of your day.